Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Kemi, and I'm here to talk about Beyond the Gates Season 2, Episode 33. So, before we begin, make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and turning on your post notifications so you'll know whenever I post. So, we start the episode off with Vernon and Anita. They are at the country club, and they're coming to uh, eat dinner or whatever. So, they come there, they hear the specials, and the specials that they have is like gumbo and etouffee and like spicy stuff from Mardi Gras or whatever. Um, they tell them they don't want it. Anita asks for a ginger ale. When the guy leaves, Anita tells Vernon, you can get it. I don't want you to stop eating what you like to eat just because I can't enjoy it like I would normally. And Vernon is just like, no, I'm gonna it's okay. I don't have to eat, I don't have to eat all that stuff. We're gonna celebrate next year. We're gonna, do Mardi Gras the big way. We're gonna go to New Orleans. We're just gonna do it up next year. And she's like, she doesn't want him to get his hopes up. And he's just like, he says he's gonna claim it. And he was just like my mom always said, if you manifest it, then it'll appear. And then Leslie pops up. Child. So she pops up and she wants to find out when they're gonna be able to when she's gonna be able to have her dinner with the articulates because she spent $10,000 at Winterfest to win the auction to have lunch with the articulates or whatever. So they're telling her she needs to go through the proper channels. There's a procedure to this. You can't just come and say, hey, I want to do this and think that it's going to be done. They're telling her that, you're going to have to wait. It can be maybe in the fall is when we'll be able to all be together because Sharon and Tracy are on tour right now. So if you want to have dinner with the articulates, you're going to have to wait and go through the proper procedures. And she's just like, oh, I see what y'all trying to do. Y'all aren't trying to let me, y'all aren't trying to let me have dinner with y'all. I paid the money and the check cleared and did it, all this other stuff. So she just sits down and she was just like, that's fine. I'll just have dinner with an articulate. So she sits down and she's, they're just talking to him. She's trying to find out information on Barbara or whatever she's trying to do. And she tries to do the little articulate saying or whatever. And Anita's just like, yeah, nah, I'm not about to do all of that. So then she she starts talking about, how she lost her virginity to the articulates or whatever. And they're just like you have no couth. Like, why are you telling us this? So they're annoyed and they get up to leave and Anita stumbles. So once Anita stumbles, she stumbles or whatever, and they go and sit down on the couch. Vernon brings her water, and because they were getting ready to leave, and Vernon had called the waiter over and told him, cancel our order. We about to go or whatever. So they they go and sit down on the couch. Um, Leslie wants to she's just like, oh, maybe you need to eat. Like, what's going? That's probably why you're lightheaded, all this other stuff. And they're just like, girl, leave us alone. Like, we fine, we fine. Like, we don't need you right now. And she's like, no, 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 Vern. And he was just like, it's Vernon, but Senator Dupree to you. And I was just like, finally, say something, because. So they get up to leave, and what's her name? Anita tells her, Winterfest will refund you your money. And she was just like, oh, no, 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 I can wait. I can go through the proper channels. What do I gotta do? And uh she tells her, yeah, because she said the lunch is over. We're gonna refund you your money. She was just like, I'll go through the proper channels. You said we can meet in the fall, and Anita was just like, no, we can meet at the turn of the next century. Like, ma'am, no, you did all of that just to get your privileges revoked. So yeah, you about to get your money back, and we'll pay we'll pay for what you thought you were gonna get. But you're not having lunch with us no more. You keep overplaying your hand. You keep trying to bombard people, and nobody is telling you. Keep playing, and you gonna f around and find out. And that's where we're. Well, clearly we're not at that stage fully, but in this moment, that's where we're at. No lunch for you. So the Vernon and Anita are out in the lobby, and they're talking about she talked Anita's talking about, if I was, if I wasn't feeling the way I was, I'd snatch her up like how I used to do it back in the old days in Chicago. And I was just like, man, I wish you would. But she thanks Vernon for not making her feel like, like she's sick or whatever. Then they start talking about, Anastasia and how she would have had a field day if she would have saw this. And they make fun of her or whatever. And then they decide to go home and watch old movies. So we see Elon, and Elon's at the station, and he gets a call from Bill, and Bill is annoying him, trying to find out if there's any headway with the stalker. And I mean, not the stalker, but the robber. And Elon is like, bruh, I'll get you the information when I get the information. Like, God damn, get off my phone. So Jacob comes in, and Jacob is just like, oh, was that Bill? And he was just like, yeah, just bothering me every hour on the hour. And he was just like, I understand though, because if that happened to your mama, then I'd be the same way too. And Jacob was just like, yeah, me too, whatever. So then Elon asked him if he's made any headway with the case or whatever. And Jacob like gives him a little bit of details. And he was just like, so basically nothing. I was just like, Elon, like, why are you so mean to him? Like, sir, you want all your sons to be police officers, and the one that's in town that is a police officer, you're so mean to him. Like, what are we doing? Did you want him to be a police officer for real? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. So they're going back and forth, and Elon isn't impressed, and he's making digs at Jacob like he don't know what he doing or whatever. And Jacob yells, I just want some respect, and everybody looking at him, and Elon is just like, you must have forgot who you talking to. Not only am I your pappy, I'm also your boss, so check that attitude at the door, sir. And it's just like, but Elon, you are also rude. Like, the man was literally trying to give you details on what was going on with the case, and you keep shutting him down, and then you try to take him off the case. Like, sir, what is we doing? So Jacob was just like, my bad, but I'm trained. I know what I'm supposed to do. Like, I'm a detective now. I went through undercover training and all that other good stuff and whatever. And Elon is just like, you got to be careful because if anything were to happen to you, I don't know what I would do, and I don't know what your mama would do or whatever. And he's just like, you really got to be careful. So we see Haley. She's on the phone with Bill, and Bill is like talking about he wants to come home, and she's just, he wants to come back to the hotel, and she was just like, it's not that serious. Caroline just left. We gonna be. I'm good. You got somebody posted outside. Everything's gonna be okay. She gets a knock on the door, and she's just like, I'm gonna call you back. So it's Naomi. Naomi comes to check on her, and Naomi is just, checking on her, seeing if she's okay. Um, Haley is talking about, this is my karma for all the things that I did. And she's just like, and Danny probably thinks this is what I get. And Naomi was just like, girl, my mama is not thinking about you because she isn't. But she was just like, my mom doesn't think like that, even though you are trifling. She ain't say all that, but I wish she would have. But she was just like, my mom doesn't think that way, and karma isn't getting back at you for what you did to my family. And she was just like, oh yeah, I'm sorry I said that about your mom, but Danny did help me when I was losing my baby. And she was just like, that's just another karma. And that's when Naomi was just like, it's not karma and it's not her fault. Haley is glad that Naomi is there to come to check on her. And she's just like, I don't deserve your kindness. And she took for granted her friendship, but she's glad that Naomi is comforting her and comforting her not as a friend but as her stepdaughter. And she holds her hand, and I was just like, "Ooh, ma'am, she called you her stepdaughter, girl." I would have slapped her hand from my hand so quick, like, "Girl, is you cool? Get off of me." So Bill comes in and Naomi snatches her hand away. Bill wants to know what's going on. Haley tells him, she came to check on me. They discuss him bugging Elon, and he's just like, what's it called? No, Bill asked her, has Jacob said anything? And she was just like, no, but he hasn't been around lately. And so Bill and Haley are just like, well, what's up? And Bill is just like, yeah, I don't like what's going on. Like, what you mean he not around? And Naomi is just like, it's not that serious. He's been working. We've both been busy. That's why, ain't seen him that whatever. So Naomi leaves. Haley goes and takes a shower, and she comes back, and then they discuss, he asks her if she's feeling better. She says yes. They discuss Jacob and Naomi because he's worried about them or whatever. So we see Tomas. He's meeting with Lynette, and he's, he wants to like temp check with her and let her know what's going on or whatever. She's laying it on thick about Haley, and how she was hurt and all this other stuff. And he was just like, if you need anything, you come to me, because she's a paralegal. And she was just like, so you talking down on your boss's wife? Like, oh, she's just a paralegal? And he was just like, nah, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you need anything, you come to me because I'm your lawyer. She is not the lawyer. She shouldn't be getting you anything. You need to be coming to me. So then he goes to tell her, what's going on with her case. He tells her that, we've like, we're working on getting it dismissed, but we do have a plea deal. And she was just like, if the plea don't if the plea deal doesn't come with it being dismissed, then I don't want it. And he's just like, as your lawyer, I have to tell you like what the options are. And she was just like, well, if you can't get it dismissed, then how about we go and talk to Bill? And let's let Bill take care of it. And if I was Tomas, I would have been like, sure, go talk to Bill. Let's see if he will take your case after you, not even after, but let's see if he will take your case when you are the reason why his wife was smacked in the face because she was bringing you something when you should have been reaching out to me. Yes. How about I call Bill for you? Let's call Bill right now. Let's see if he will take your case. That's what I would have said. But he's just like, no, 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 no. I got it. We'll work on getting it dismissed. I'll, if you need anything, don't go to Haley, don't go to Bill. You come to me, basically. So she gets a phone call, and it's Randy, and Randy is just like, we need to meet. So Tomas comes to her and tells her, again, if you need anything, you know, don't go asking Haley or whatever. So she tells him, well, I didn't ask Haley to bring bring the documents to me. She just told me to meet her to come get it. So now Tomas's wheels are turning or whatever, they turning. So we see let's see. Oh yeah, we see Lynette and Randy. She meets him at Uptown, and he tells her about Joey tasking him with finding the culprit, and she's just like, well, go ahead and do what you do, okay. And she tells him, she was just like, he was just like, yeah, nah, this is what you and Haley cooked up. I ain't got nothing to do with this. My boss wants me to find somebody, and if I'm gonna find somebody, and she was just like, well, go handle it and stop acting like a little bitch. I said, oh wow. And he was just like, if I go down, you go down. You and Haley go down. Now go run tell that. And then he leaves. I was just like, these three are the dumbest. Not even three, because Lynette, she doing what she got to do, but Randy and Haley are the dumbest, especially Haley. Because girl, why would you let this girl do what she did, and you don't get that now she holds all the cards? Like she legit holds all the cards at this moment, Haley. And you are so focused on keeping Bill's attention on you that you're not paying attention to the fact that this lady legit holds all the cards. It's like, okay, Haley, this is where we're at. Okay, this is where we're at. So we see Jacob, he's at home and he's on the phone with Smitty. He got on his little, um hoodie shirt or whatever with no shirt underneath. So he looking a little hood out, thugged out right now. And he in the dark, he talking to Smitty or whatever. So Naomi walks in and she turns on the light and she sees him and she's just like, oh my gosh. She gets scared or whatever. And so she was just like, oh, you look different. And he was just like, this my undercover work. She's like, you getting deeper in the assignment. And he's just like, he ain't say nothing. And she's just like, okay. Um, he tells her, oh yeah, she was just like, you're getting deeper in the assignment. I haven't seen you. Just want to know, are you okay? He was just like, yeah, I'm okay. And he tells her, you're not gonna see me for a while, and she wants to know how long, but he doesn't say. And then she's just like, so you can't or you won't tell me. And it's just like, ma'am, you haven't told him about the BRCA gene, so why are you tripping on him not telling you anything? I thought that's what y'all do. Y'all keep secrets from each other. So he tells her, um he tells her he has to move out. She tells him it's not necessary. He says he doesn't want to bring danger to their door, and if something were to happen to her, he wouldn't be able, his life wouldn't be worth living. And I was just like, oh, this man really loves her. Oh, so she wants to know where the new place is, and he's just like, yeah, you ain't gonna get that information, because the whole reason why I'm leaving is so that we don't really communicate with each other. We don't see each other because, again, if anything were to happen to you, my life wouldn't be worth living. I mean, Naomi, what are we doing right now? So he tells her, he gives her a burner and he tells her, this is only for emergencies. She understands, and she'll just like, this feels different. They start to kiss. um this is gonna be their last time see each other, so they decide to kiss and make love. And then they kissing, and then Jacob stops and he was just like, yeah, this really does feel different. And then they go ahead and get ready to do, and that's how the episode ends. So yeah, so that was how the episode ended or whatever. And I was just like, oh, now I feel like she really does love him, and I hope nothing happens to Jacob. But that was the episode. It was a cute little episode. Not a lot happened, but enough. Again, that's usually how these episodes are. But you guys get down in the comments. Tell me what you guys thought about the episode. Make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, turning on your post notifications so you'll know whenever I post. And I will see you guys in the next one.